Today, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Jeff Clark from the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Community in Boulder, Colorado.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Armagost, Bacon, AML Bacon, is excused. Barone, Byrd, Representative Byrd is excused. Basenecker, Bottoms,
Here.
Bradfield, Representative Bradfield, Bradley, Brooks, Brown, Caldwell, Representative Caldwell is excused. Camacho, Carter, Clifford, Representative DeGraff is excused. Duran, English, Espinoza, Foray, Froelich, Garcia, Garcia Sander, Gilchrist, Representative Gilchrist, Gonzalez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Jackson, Johnson, Joseph, Kelty, Leader, Lindsay,
Here.
Lindstead, Luck, Lukens, Mabry, Marshall, Representative Marshall,
Hi.
excused. Martinez, Morrow, McCormick, Pascal, Phillips, Puglisi, Richardson, Ricks,
Here.
Rutinel, Ryden, Sirota, Smith. Okay. It's here. Soper, Representative Soper, excused. Stewart K, Stewart R, Story, Representative Story is excused. Sukla, Taggart, Titone, Valdez A, Representative Valdez, Velasco, Weinberg, Wilford, Winter, Woodrow, Woog, Zokai, and Madam Speaker.
Here. With 59 present and 6 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Gonzalez.
Madam Speaker, thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Happy Hump
Good
Day.
morning.
It's Wednesday. I wanted to start the day off just by a little chemistry joke. Maybe some of you might like this. I did study chemistry. I was 2 classes away from a chemistry minor in college, but I decided I just wanted to graduate. So, with that being said, what did the bartender say to oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur, sodium, and phosphorus walking into the bar?
What?
Oh, snap. Periodic table of elements right there. With that being said, Madam Speaker, thank you for indulging me. I move that the Journal of Tuesday, March 18, 2025 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk, and I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday.
Representative Gonzalez, I was a chemistry major in college, so great minds think alike, but the joke wasn't great. Members, you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Members, we are proceeding to business. Please take your seats.
Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate Joint Resolution 9.
Members, seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for consideration of Senate Joint Resolution 9. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of Senate Joint Resolution 009.
The Senate Joint Resolution 9 by Senators Roberts and Catlin, also Representatives McCluskey and Taggart, concerning the protection of Colorado's public lands.
Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. It is an honor to serve with you.
It's an honor to serve with you.
I move Senate Joint Resolution 9 and ask that it be read at length.
That is a proper motion. Mr. Schiebel, please read the resolution.
Whereas Coloradans have a deep love and affection for our shared national public lands and the innumerable benefits they provide. And whereas Colorado and the American West contain a variety of national public lands, including national parks, national forests, wildlife refuges, national monuments, wilderness areas, and other public lands. And whereas Coloradans' affection for public lands does not stop at the state line and extends to protected areas from the Rocky Mountains and Grand Teton National Parks to Dinosaur National Monument and the McInnes Canyons National Conservation Area, and the other millions of acres of public lands in Colorado managed by the Bureau of Land Management that feature iconic working ranches, mountain bike trail systems, world-class climbing, outstanding whitewater boating, and incredible hunting and angling opportunities. And whereas our public lands reflect many of our most notable democratic ideals because public lands offer valuable recreational, economic, cultural, and spiritual opportunities to everyone, regardless of one's socioeconomic status, race, or gender, or whether one lives in an urban or rural area. And whereas our public lands provide defining features of Colorado and the foundation for our quality of life by supporting the vitality of our communities, as well as representing Colorado's common heritage, fossils marking where dinosaurs roamed, ancient ruins and petroglyphs dotting the canyons, and historic mining towns nestled in steep-sided valleys. And whereas our national public lands feature an amazingly diverse range of landscapes, from the snow-capped peaks of the Rocky Mountains down to rushing rivers, from red rock canyons to sagebrush seas, and tree-lined mountain valleys that are treasured by Coloradans and the nation for outdoor recreation, such as hunting and angling. And whereas our public lands provide important wildlife habitats, clean water, clean air, and natural amenities that contribute to Coloradans' quality of life and Colorado's climate resiliency. And whereas according to the 2024 Colorado College State of the Rockies poll, 88% of Westerners visited national public lands in the previous year, with 1/4 visiting more than 10 times. And 84% of Coloradans support the creation of new national parks, national monuments, and national wildlife refuges. And whereas our shared public lands have a substantial impact on economic development and jobs through mineral extraction, timber sales, ranching, tourism, and the outdoor recreation industry, which alone contributed over $17 billion to Colorado's economy in 2023, supporting 132,500 jobs and placing Colorado in the top 10 nationally for economic activity around outdoor recreation. And whereas in 2016, through Senate Bill 21, Colorado created a state holiday to recognize and pay tribute to our public lands in Public Lands Day on the third Saturday of each May. And whereas in 2024, through House Joint Resolution 1012, the Colorado legislature unanimously memorialized the U.S. Army's 10th Mountain Division that trained in the valleys and rugged mountains of Eagle and Summit counties during World War II, and expressed its appreciation for the recently designated Camp Hale Continental Divide National Monument. And whereas misguided attempts to seize control of vast acreage of national public lands from the American public and to force their disposal through litigation and legislation supported by a multi-million-dollar ad campaign are inconsistent with the values and interests of Coloradans. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, declare our support for keeping our national public lands in public hands through the stewardship of the United States government and the federal land management agencies of the National Park Service, the United States Forest Service, the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Reclamation, and the Bureau of Land Management. Oppose efforts to sell, transfer, or dispose of our national public lands, and encourage Colorado's Governor and Attorney General and the members of Colorado's congressional delegation to take such actions as may be necessary to oppose future attempts to sell, transfer, or dispose of our national public lands.
Representative Taggart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, and thank you very much to the Speaker for asking me to get involved in this particular resolution. This one's not difficult for me. I grew up and was fortunate to grow up in a family where outdoor activities were a major part of our lives. I camped very, very early on, way down at this small, which later led to backpacking, ice climbing, trekking, you name it. And most important to me during that period of my life was ski racing. That led me, much to the chagrin of my dad, into the outdoor industry, which was my career. And I love dearly leading outdoor companies, and I love dearly being an entrepreneur in that business. These lands are critical to us. They are critical to our economy. You heard that they amount to $17 billion a year and over 130,000 employees in the state of Colorado alone. But equally as important, they're important to our local economies. For me in Grand Junction, we are fortunate, and anybody wants to join me someday, we have an event called the Tour of the Moon, which is a 60-mile ride of which starts off over the magnificent landscape. Ty, you're more than welcome. Over the landscape of the Colorado National Monument. Now I got people doing this. You're welcome to do that with me, although I probably can't keep up. Those types of events that take place across this state help our local economies, our local specialty stores, our local hotels, our local restaurants. And I'll leave you with this thought. We are stewards of these lands, all of us. It's our job to leave these lands as pristine as we possibly can for our kids, our grandkids in my case, and future generations. So this resolution to me is very personal, and I appreciate the Speaker getting me involved. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. What an honor it is to serve with you. I am delighted to be here with Representative Taggart, who did such an artful job of explaining not only his personal commitment to Colorado's public lands, but his experience and the relevancy of our public lands to the economic lifeblood for all of us on the Western Slope and across this state. I often talk about water being the embodiment of the spirit of the West, what it means to be part of that pioneering spirit and philosophy, to think about adventure, to take on new and important challenges. And if water is the spirit, then our public lands are our heart and our soul. It's how we identify as Coloradans. I am always so impressed to meet someone who has recently moved to Colorado. And without exception, those folks come here because of our iconic Rocky Mountains, our incredible blue skies and healthy forests and opportunities to go explore and adventure and take a moment to connect with nature. It is truly an honor to carry this resolution before all of you today, and I encourage your support not only of the resolution, but of preserving and protecting our amazing public lands. Thank you.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. If you desire, you may sit. I have no problem with that. Like the resolution sponsors, I share a love for public lands and a history with them. And so it saddens me that I am standing up here to explain to you why I will be a no vote today. I thought it was important to explain my no vote because by and large I agree with much of what is in this resolution. If this resolution was specifically tailored to Colorado and to Colorado's public lands, my analysis would be different. If this resolution spoke of public lands remaining public, in public hands, generally speaking, again, my analysis of this resolution would be different. This, however, is a resolution that speaks of keeping lands currently possessed or stewarded by the national government in the national government's hands. And there are a variety of surrounding states who are currently at odds with the federal government and desiring to take some of the national lands and steward them at the state level. I don't want to speak into that conversation. I don't want to speak into it to say that as a Colorado Assembly that I oppose whether the transfer of Utah national lands goes to the state of Utah or Wyoming national lands go to the state of Wyoming, et cetera, et cetera. I think that is outside of my authority. I think that's outside of our jurisdiction. And so for that, I respectfully will be a no vote today. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 009. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Did you say Lindsay? Sorry.
Yes, I did. Representative
Yes,
Lindsay.
I mean, yes, sorry, it cut out, sorry.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 59 aye votes, 5 no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 009 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Representative Ricks, co-sponsors. Please close the machine.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of third reading of bills.
Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for third reading of bills. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1250.
House Bill 1250 by Representatives Hamrick and Duran, also Senator Cutter, concerning providing materials about gun violence prevention to parents with students in K through 12.
Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I request permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Please briefly explain.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So L002, which was run on second reading, adds language to the Department of Public Health and Environment SMART Act hearing on gun violence prevention materials was placed in the wrong section of the statute. It was placed in Title 22, which is the statute that directs the Department of Education. This amendment relocates the language adopted by L002 to the reporting requirement section of CDPHE's Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and I ask for a yes vote, or permission.
The motion before us is permission to run a third reading amendment. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 55 aye, 9 no, 1 excused, permission to run a third reading amendment is granted. Representative Hamrick.
I move L003 to House Bill 1250 and ask for a favorable vote.
We will be displaying the amendment first. Please pause.
Sorry, I should know that. Absolutely properly displayed.
The amendment is properly displayed. Please proceed, Representative Hamrick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As my wonderful colleague just stated, it's just a technical fix to make sure that the amendment we put on yesterday comes through the correct office. So I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a technical amendment to the amendment that I placed during second readings. This does put it in the right place, so I do encourage an aye vote on the amendment, even though I'm still a no on the bill.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of L003 to House Bill 1250. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 64 ayes, 0 no, and 1 excused, the amendment is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1250 as amended on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1250 as amended on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Representative Ricks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Ricks votes yes. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 21 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1250 as amended is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1219.
House Bill 1219 by Representatives Phillips and Barone, also Senator Mullica, concerning requirements for metropolitan districts that aid the public's understanding of metropolitan districts.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1219 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1219 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 53 aye, 11 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1219 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1210.
House Bill 1210 by Representatives Garcia Sander and Lukens, also Senators Pelton B. and Marchman, concerning data reporting requirements for K through 12 schools.
Madam Majority Leader,
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1210 on third reading and final passage.
the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1210 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Clifford, please close the machine. With 64 ayes, 0 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1210 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 140.
Senate Bill 140 by Senator Pelton R., also Representative Johnson, concerning adjusting dollar amounts related to the administration of irrigation districts formed pursuant to the irrigation district laws first enacted in 1905 to account for inflation.
Madam Majority Leader,
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 140 on third reading and final passage.
the motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 140 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 58 ayes, 6 no, 1 excused, Senate Bill 140 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1283.
House Bill 1283 by Representatives Duran and Winter, also Senators Marchman and Liston, concerning measures that implement the Wild Horse Working Group's legislative recommendations.
Madam Majority Leader,
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1283 on third reading and final passage.
the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1283 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 56 aye, 8 no, 1 excused, House Bill 1283 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1208.
House Bill 1208 by Representatives Woodrow and Valdez, also Senators Amabile and Doherty, concerning increasing the amount of the tip offset associated with the local government's minimum wage and in connection therewith requiring a local government that enacts a local minimum wage that exceeds the state minimum wage to satisfy certain requirements in determining the amount of the tip offset associated with the local government's minimum wage.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1208 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1208 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 44 aye, 20 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1208 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1204.
House Bill 1204 by Representatives Duran and Joseph, also Senator Danielson, concerning the codification of the Federal Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 as the Colorado Indian Child Welfare Act.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1204 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1204 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Representative English. Please close the machine. With 62 aye, 2 no, 1 excused, House Bill 1204 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1175.
House Bill 1175 by Representatives Leader and Joseph, also Senator Rodriguez, concerning the establishment of an opt-in program for smart meters installed by a qualifying retail utility.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1175 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1175 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Sirota. Please close the machine. With 54 aye, 10 no, 1 excused, House Bill 1175 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1279.
House Bill 1279 by Representative Stewart R., also Senator Judah, concerning collecting state-level data from the Colorado Works Program and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1279 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1279 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 44 aye, 20 no, 1 excused, House Bill 1279 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1282.
House Bill 1282 by Representatives Brooke and Lindstedt, also Senators Doherty and Kirkmeyer, concerning prohibitions on certain payment card network practices involving electronic payment transactions.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1282 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1282 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Representative Joseph. Please close the machine. With 43 aye, 21 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1282 is adopted. Co-sponsors.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Representative Lindsay, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to Senate Bill 68.
Senate Bill 68 by Senators Snyder and Lundy, and also Representatives Puglisi and Pascal, concerning a municipally owned utilities voluntary election to participate in the Unclaimed Utility Deposits Program.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move Senate Bill 68 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 68 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Please close the machine. With 63 aye, 1 no, 1 excuse, Senate Bill 68 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move the following bills be added to the special orders calendar on Wednesday, March 19th, 2025 at 9:47 a.m. House Bill 1209, House Bill 1182, House Bill 1298, and Senate Bill 78.
Seeing no objection, the bills listed by the Majority Leader will be added to the specials calendar today, March 19th at 9:47 a.m. Representative Clifford. That was an enthusiastic motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Clifford will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there's a request for the reading of a bill at length. Committee reports are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and will be available in your inbox. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the Majority Leader. The coat rule is relaxed, as are any rules about what chair you sit. I don't have the authority to do that last piece, but members, we are beginning with our proceedings. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to lay over House Bill 1224 until after House Bill 1182.
House Bill 1224 will be heard after House Bill 1182. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1209.
House Bill 1209 by Representatives Lindstedt and Wilford, also Senator Gonzalez, concerning measures to address efficiency in the regulation of marijuana licensees.
1 second. Representative Wilford. Sorry about that. I was processing what the clerk had just told me.
No problem, Mr. Chair. Thanks. Sorry, I got a little distracted by Representative Taggart's very nice compliment. Mr. Chair, I move House Bill 1209 as well as the Finance Committee reports and the Appropriations Committee report.
Let's move those committee reports one at a time. We'll hear the Finance Committee report. Oh, we're going to do them both? I apologize. That is a proper motion. To the Appropriations Committee report. Representative Lindsted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In Appropriations, the committee agreed with us that the bill will save us about $500,000 a year. So it was a good hearing. Would appreciate it, and I vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Appropriations Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report to House Bill 1209. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the Finance Committee report, Representative Lindsted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Finance Committee, we took about 6 amendments from the MED to make clarifying language in a whole bunch of areas on the bill so that the bill is implementable and ready to go.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I thank my colleagues from Broomfield and from North Glen for their leadership on this bill. I have some concerns about the Finance Committee report, and at this point I move L015 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. We will wait for it to be displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, I rise with my colleague from Douglas County to offer this amendment, which doesn't look like much on paper, but it will maintain Colorado's current requirement that a person can only purchase 1 ounce of marijuana products in a given day. Personally, I believe that marijuana legalization in Colorado has gone very well on the whole. There are a number of dispensaries and gummy manufacturers and other marijuana businesses in my district and in my community, and I certainly appreciate their contribution to our local economy. But the reason that my colleague and I are offering this amendment today is because when we are discussing products like marijuana, we cannot view these products solely with an economic lens. Marijuana has an impact on public health, and the responsible restrictions that we in Colorado have put in place have helped to protect kids and adults from potential harm. This amendment helps to maintain an important public health protection. The current daily sales limit of 1 ounce far exceeds the needs of any single person. In fact, 1 ounce of marijuana products lasts approximately 1 month for a typical marijuana consumer. Every single day, a consumer can purchase 800 milligrams of THC in edibles, 8 grams of concentrate, and 1 ounce of marijuana flower, which is enough bud to roll 50 to 100 joints. According to the Healthy Kids Colorado survey, 26% of high school students have ever tried marijuana. 12.8% of those students have used marijuana in the last 30 days. And in fact, even 3% of middle schoolers have used marijuana in the last 30 days. But you might say, hey, Rep. Brown, you can't purchase marijuana if you're over 21, so how are all these high school students getting marijuana? In the most recent Healthy Kids Colorado survey, again, from 2023, 24% of high school students who used marijuana got it from someone over the age of 21. So even the existing purchase limit allows for these products to be resold illegally to people who are underage. Imagine what might happen if we raise the purchase limit. The existing marijuana business model relies on large amounts of sales of high-potency products, and these products are ending up in the hands of kids. Approximately 8% of Colorado high school students are using high-potency THC products, concentrates, and similar. High-potency THC products are particularly dangerous for kids. We know that a person's brain continues to develop until they are 25 years old, and further, peer-reviewed research published in the Lancet Psychiatry in 2022 indicates that the use of high-potency cannabis products relative to the lower-potency cannabis is associated with an increased risk of psychosis and cannabis use disorder. So raising the purchase limit will allow more high-potency products to end up in the hands of kids, putting their mental health at risk. With such a high limit already, increasing the purchase limits won't streamline regulations for marijuana businesses or consumers, as the bill argues, but it will lead to the increased diversion of high-potency products that put our youth mental health at risk. I ask for an aye vote on this amendment because raising the purchase limit puts more kids at risk.
Representative Herzog.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and many thanks to my colleague. What we are looking at here is this amendment is trying to keep things where it's existed. It's existed this way for over a decade, and the industry is doing just fine. Yet now we want to double that. So let's put that in perspective. I mean, if you double anything, unless it's your paycheck, it's probably not a good thing. Back in the day, you had to compare a can of beer to a glass of wine to a shot of spirits. The amount of THC in what we're dealing with now in the concentration is like Everclear. And Everclear is around 160 to 180 grain alcohol. If you consume that same amount, very, very bad things will happen. What this amendment's trying to do is say, keep it at the level where it's at. So if you double it, 2 ounces, to put this in perspective, 2 ounces of marijuana in the concentrate is enough for 1,280, let me say that again, 1,280 individuals to become intoxicated or impaired. 1,280 individuals. How can one person possibly consume that much marijuana? What good could come out of it? Nothing. We know from the industry and the education itself that we've got increased depression, anxiety, psychosis, schizophrenia, addiction, because we are now dealing with a potency that is infinitely higher than when it was legalized. We're not trying to change the law. We're saying leave it as it is. Leave the purchase of the 1 ounce as it is. The industry and what is going on, this is highly addictive. And if you are buying 2 ounces that is enough for over 1,280 people, what else could be done with that? Where else can it go? It can go to the black market. It can go to kids. It goes to areas that aren't any good because nobody's going to consume that much. Would you go down the liquor store and buy out the liquor store, unless you were going to start your own liquor store? Would you go out and buy it out of cases and cases of liquor, wine, spirits? No. So why are we doing this with marijuana? Why are we doubling what can be bought out there? You can't consume that much. So what else are you going to do with it? We need to leave it where it's at 1 ounce. That's what was passed, it's what the people passed. That's what we need to leave it at. I urge an aye vote on this amendment.
Representative Wilford.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much to the representatives that brought forward this amendment. In particular, I want to thank the Health and Human Services Chair. I would expect nothing less than this amendment from him, and I say that with a lot of admiration for him. Members, a couple of things I want to clarify. First is that we heard a number of statistics from the Colorado Kids Count survey, but there were dates that are really important that were missing from what we just heard. So in 2019, kids reported, there were 25.5% of Colorado kids reported using marijuana. Fast forward to 2024, we are seeing the lowest rate of kids using marijuana since state legalization. We are down over 13%. And our law already says that you can possess 2 ounces of cannabis. You can already possess 2 ounces. So when we talk about aligning the law to possess with what we're trying to do in this bill, the sky is not going to fall. We are not going to have a massive crisis of marijuana moving to our kids. You can already go and purchase 1 ounce on a Tuesday, and then on a Wednesday, you can go and purchase another ounce for your full possession of 2 ounces. From my perspective, we're not asking for a major shift in public policy, nor are we putting our kids at risk by saying you can purchase 2 ounces on Tuesday instead of making a second trip on Wednesday. We would ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Representative Lindstedt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I do appreciate my good esteemed colleague from Douglas County and his comparison to Everclear. And I just want to point out, there is no sales limit on Everclear. There's no sales limit on alcohol. There is no sales limit on any possession with a possession limit that is lower than the possession limit. So this is a strange, unique circumstance where we have a possession limit and a sales limit that do not align. So we're asking to align those 2 limits. And just to underscore what's happening right now, people are going in, they're buying 1 ounce, they're going back out to their car, putting it in their car, going back inside and buying another ounce. This isn't enforceable. It's not providing any legitimate public health purpose by having this limit on the books. And there is no data that I have seen that attributes the purchase limit to increase public health or lower youth usage. So I'd ask a no vote on this amendment. It's unnecessary to protect public health. Thank you.
Representative Brown.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the comments from my colleague from Broomfield as well as my colleague from North Glen. I really appreciate their commitment to getting this policy right. I will just say that the Healthy Kids Colorado survey is not mandatory for many districts. So while it is the best information that we have, I think to the point of the representative from North Glen, it may have issues. I also want to say that to the comments from my colleague from Broomfield, going out to your car, coming back, going out again, that is already illegal. And so it is, I think the argument that he is making, it sounds like to me, is that since that is already happening, we should just go ahead and raise the limits. I'm not ready to say that something that I think is illegal and obviously can be used for folks who want to put this into the hands of kids, we should just give up and allow them to do that. So I'd ask for an aye vote on this amendment. I think it is a logical thing that maintains the status quo and helps to protect our kids.
Seeing no further discussion on Amendment L15 to the Finance Committee report, the question before us is the adoption of that amendment. Please make sure that I can hear you when you vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. The noes have it. The amendment fails. To the committee report. Seeing no further discussion to the Finance Committee report, the question before us is the adoption of the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. I just want to thank the bill sponsors for bringing this bill forward. I know you guys did a lot of work and stakeholding into it, so I appreciate that. I'm here up to explain why I will be a yes vote on this bill, and there are many reasons for that. I will highlight in the Finance Committee when we did hear this bill, one of the arguments that we heard was about regulations, about getting rid of regulations on industries. And I pointed out to my colleagues that that's all what we all want to do. And I think we can go far beyond this specific cannabis industry. But I think this is a start. You see, you hear arguments in the notion that cannabis isn't some sort of gateway drug. Voters voted for this over a decade ago with the intentions of funding certain projects and services in this state. And in fact, nearly 2/3, if not over 2/3 of this entire country has a favorable view of cannabis. You see, in my district, we have a lot of dispensaries, a lot of people who in fact use these products. And I can tell you that, they do contribute the revenue. There's the notion that this is some sort of danger to our children. But I think it's blatant discrimination against this industry, what we've seen when it comes to higher tax rates and more regulations, where it drives the costs up for these people to actually run a business here in this state. When we make the comparison that it is in fact a danger to the kids, we also should treat it like alcohol. You see, currently, children who are under 21 can still get alcohol. So the current laws we have when it comes to alcohol does not necessarily reduce the risk by 100% of these children getting alcohol. But likewise, the same thing with these rules, there's no way to prevent children from possessing them, right? Even though we try to, and there's our intention to make sure that children under 21 do not get a hold of this. So I will just like to say, I know there's a discussion and it arouses passions to this bill, but I know this is something that my constituents want, and this is something that I've actually gone back and presented to not only the stakeholders, but to the people of my district when it comes to these type of policies. And I am a proponent of this industry. I think we need to treat it the same when it comes to other substances and alcohol. We need to be consistent. That's the main issue here, as well as also addressing regulation. So to the bill, streamlining the process, making it more digital, fingerprinting, minimizing it, risking it. A lot of these people, they have to pay for compliance, and it drives the cost up. So I think this is also an opportunity to drive the cost up for these products. And for those reasons, I encourage an aye vote. Thank you.
Representative Sukla.
Well, I just wanted to talk about marijuana. So when this got passed a decade or 15 days ago, or 15 years ago, whatever it was, living in the town of Cortez all of my life, we never did have any homeless people. I knew everybody that was walking on the street. As soon as it got passed, because I live in the Four Corners, there was 3 states that didn't have marijuana approved, and that was Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. And so then what happened was we got an influx of people from Utah, and what they would do is, I think there's 7 or 8 marijuana stores in the little town of Cortez. They would go and they would buy an ounce of marijuana at one store, go to the next store, go to the next store till they had their 8 ounces. Then they would go to Durango, La Plata County, and they would go to their 10 stores and they'd buy an ounce, and now all of a sudden they got 30 ounces, and then they would go back to Utah and then sell it on the black market. So we've had alcohol a long time there. I don't agree with the alcohol either, but I can say that since we have introduced marijuana, the gateway drug, to all the other drugs, all you got to do is walk outside 300 yards down there and go see what they're doing down there on Broadway. Thank you.
Representative Herzog.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in absolute opposition to this legislation. We went after the alcohol and the tobacco industry when they were doing things to target kids, when they were doing advertising that was misleading. Because we know there's harms, so we don't want that going to kids. Yet we are now going to not only double what's available out there, but we're increasing what they can do with it. And as my colleague from the Western Slope just pointed out, you've got that much out there, the black market's going to increase. You look at law enforcement, you look at everything that talks about the flow of drugs with crime and everything else that goes with it, marijuana's involved. When you have this much that can be bought and then transported somewhere else, that's a major problem. We are creating Colorado. When Colorado was the first one to legalize that, we had people coming from all over the country to buy stuff here. And now we're going to double what you can buy. Do you honestly think they're not going to come here to buy more of it and take it somewhere else? Do you not think that it's going to increase the crime, the destruction that's going on out there? We do not need more marijuana on the streets. It was passed by the people. They had a set amount. And now we're going to increase it so what everyone else can do. We're going to invite more bad things into this state, more crime, which we're already near the top of the charts on, and make things worse. I urge a no vote on this legislation. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1209? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1209. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Mr. Shewell, please read the title of House Bill 1182. Up on one moment, please. Madam Majority Leader, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move House Bill 1182 until after House Bill 1224.
House Bill 1182 will be moved until House Bill 1224. Mr. Shewell, please read the title to House Bill 1224.
House Bill 1224 by Representatives Titone and Soper, also Senator Snyder, concerning modification of the Revised Uniform Unclaimed Property Act.
Representative Titone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1224 and the Finance Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the committee, we made a few amendments to clarify some things that DOR was asking us to fix, some technical changes, and we have an amendment to the committee report, and I move Amendment L003.
Give us a moment to get that properly displayed. L003 is displayed. Representative Titone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment was brought to us by the Attorney General's office to make some clarifications on the redaction of, the type of data that can be submitted and make sure that information is correct, and this helps to alleviate any kind of people taking money that doesn't belong to them. And I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I also urge an aye vote on this amendment. You know, we just want to make abundantly clear that the treasurer can ask for the documents to be able to prove ownership by the claimant before paying the claimant. So we don't want to send money to a fraudster.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L003? Seeing none, the question before us is adoption of L003 to the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. To the committee report, Representative Titone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have another amendment to the committee report. I move Amendment L004 and ask for it to be displayed.
It is displayed. Please proceed with the amendment.
All right, thank you. So we were approached by a company that does work in this area of finding different assets and buying different assets, and they work with the Treasurer's Office to try to receive that. They had some concerns. We tried to alleviate some of those concerns, and we came up with this amendment to try to at least alleviate those concerns. But we think that they're a good addition to the bill to prevent fraud as well, and we ask for an aye vote on this amendment.
Is there Representative Sofer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I also ask for an aye vote on this amendment. And I just really want to say that the two amendments, in case you're following, operate really together. And they also really strengthen the current law, which is we don't want to put the Treasurer's Office in a position where they don't have the documents they need to fully be able to pay the actual claimant and not someone who's trying to commit fraud.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L004? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L004 to the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment to the committee report is adopted. To the committee report. Representative Tatone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask for a yes vote on the committee report as amended.
Seeing no further discussion on the Finance Committee report to House Bill L004 to House Bill 1224, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Soper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this bill is one to update the Uniform Unclaimed Property Act. Colorado, like many other states, has a very robust program. Ours is known as the Great Colorado Payback. Don't ask me why, but it's your money. We want to get it back to you. But we also want to make sure it gets back to legitimate owners of lost property. And so we're just updating, for example, to include cryptocurrency. That's something new that we're looking at. We also are looking at capping the percent for finder's fees, which we don't really want to necessarily have someone charging an outrageous rate to help you get your money back. By the same token, we've spent a lot of taxpayer dollars over the years to develop a really good website for anyone in this chamber, anyone listening, or the public to be able to see if they have any unclaimed or lost property that's being held by the state. It's really easy to get it back. We did take the liberty in Finance Committee of looking up all the members on the committee. I won't read you the list, but of everyone on Finance Committee, only 2 did not have unclaimed property sitting in the Treasurer's Office. And I will say someone in this chamber has an awful lot of money that's waiting for them, so we should get in touch with that member and see if he'd be willing to share. But I'll let Representative Tatone talk about the last couple of things the bill does.
Representative Tatone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is a really important aspect of what the Treasurer's Office does. It's the unclaimed property system. This is a trust fund. So this is money that is found through various ways, whether it's safe deposit box, securities, just a gift card that they couldn't get back to you. There's a whole bunch of different things that if they cannot find you and it gets returned to sender and they have this money that goes out, it gets sent to the Treasurer's Office, and this is where it goes, is the Unclaimed Property Trust Fund. There have been, since the last time this bill was run in 2019, I believe, was when this was addressed, they've been collecting a whole bunch of different ways of fixing this act to make it work better. In 2019, there were no cryptocurrency really being traded or used at all, so the cryptocurrency provision was needed to be added in here. There's some parts about the what are those called? The pre-need contracts. Yeah. Yes, the pre-need. It's a funeral-related thing. That's why Rep. Soper and I are working together. Pre-need contracts. That money should not go to the funeral home. It should go back to the family of that person who had that pre-need contract. Lienly traded stocks. Lienly traded stocks are kind of an anomaly where you have a stock that if it's traded, it can have a huge effect on the price of the stock. And if the Treasurer's Office has a policy to sell that immediately, it can change the price and mess with that market. So there are now going to be provisions in that bill for this. And one of the most important ones that I think is in this bill because there were some carve-outs for some of the municipalities to be able to hold on to unclaimed property that they had. Say they had a payment that they couldn't give back to someone and they couldn't find that person, or a paycheck they could not find. They have the ability to keep that money for themselves and put it in the newspaper and make it a lot more difficult than it is in this unclaimed property system to get it back to you. And then after a few years, they get to keep that money. They should be participating in this program just like everybody else, to be sure that your property gets returned to you and is held on to and is not used by the city, who should not have the right to do that. It should be able to get back to you. So these are really good, sensible provisions that we are adding into this bill to make the unclaimed property system work better. And maybe in a few more years, we'll come up with some new things in the next legislature at that time. We'll be able to help address this and keep it up to times. But this is a very important bill, and I appreciate your yes vote on the bill.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1224. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of House Bill 1182.
House Bill 1182 by Representatives Titone and Brown, also Senators Cutter and Simpson, concerning tools to assess risk for the purpose of underwriting property insurance policies.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We move House Bill 1182 and the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the committee, we made a number of amendments. We made amendments several amendments at the request of insurance companies. In particular, we added definitions to community-level mitigation of specific mitigation actions. We removed the requirement for insurers to incorporate the state-level mitigation of their efforts and their risk models. Our amendments also provided an option for insurers with respect to the models. Instead of incorporating the community or property-specific mitigation into the actions and into their models, they must provide discounts to policyholders for such mitigation actions. We added a number of other amendments that I'm going to let my good colleague from Jefferson County talk about here.
Representative Titone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on the request of the industry, we removed reinsurers from the requirement of the bill. We pushed the effective date back to July 1st, 2026. This was an important move because we were asking them to make several changes to some of their computer systems and ways that they communicate with their customers. They needed some more time to be able to do that, and we accommodated them with that amendment. We also added a requirement that the models be treated as confidential by the commissioner. We want to make sure that any proprietary data or methodology that they use will not be open to the public. That's it. And we'll go take it back to Rep. Brown.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L006 to House Bill 11, to the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report and ask it to be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. We will wait for it to be displayed. Please proceed with the amendment. Representative Titone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so working with the insurance industry, it's a bit of a complex industry at times. So when we talk about commercial insurance can be for a lot of different types of properties, and the way that they calculate their underwriting, it doesn't use a lot of the same methodologies as what we're talking about here. So lumping in commercial as a whole was not an appropriate way to do that. So we have this amendment here to reduce that commercial liability there to only properties that have residential housing and multifamily residential housing. So it won't include any other commercial properties that would fall outside of that. So it's very specific to this, and we ask for an aye vote on this amendment.
Minority Leader Puglisi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank the bill sponsors. There were a lot of conversations after committee with industry on an amendment that they needed for this bill. This came from industry, and really appreciate the bill sponsors listening to those concerns, and I support this amendment. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L006? The question before us is the adoption of Amendment L006 to the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. To the committee report, Representative Brown.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L007 to the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. We will wait for it to be displayed. To the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment deals with data, and we are specifically making sure that to the extent to which data is available and established by rule, the division can take certain actions here. And so if data is not available, obviously that gives, then they wouldn't have to, the insurance carriers wouldn't have to do that, and shouldn't have to submit certain information in their rate filings to the division about how and whether the models are used for underwriting and rating. And we'd ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? The question before us is the adoption of Amendment L007 to the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The amendment is adopted. To the committee report, Representative Brown.
We ask for an aye vote on the committee report. As amended.
Seeing no further discussion on the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report, the question before us is the adoption of the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report as amended to House Bill 1182. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report as amended is adopted. To the bill, Representative Tatone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is a really important bill for homeowners in our state. And as we've seen wildfires become more destructive and more frequent, we have a problem with insurance. Whether folks are trying to sell their homes because they want to downsize and their insurance premiums are too high, people do not want to buy those homes. We have problems with people that are in areas that are not in the woods that are still having these rates get out of control. This was something that I had come up with last summer. I was talking to some fire chiefs. They were talking about these wildfire scores. A wildfire score, if you even know, if you can even get it, many of you probably don't even know it's available to you. The insurance companies will provide you a risk score as to what your risk rating is for your property. But what does that mean? It's not like a credit score where your credit score tells you things that affect what your credit score does. This score, to many people, is just a number. And if you have a different insurance company in the property next door and you compare with your neighbor, you may find that it's a completely different number. And that's because there's different methodologies of how these things work. But this bill is about promoting transparency and accountability in the wildfire risk scoring and the models, and empowering Coloradans to make informed decisions about mitigation. The bill requires insurers to provide information to policyholders and the state about the models and the scores. Insurers are increasingly using wildfire risk scores to determine whether to provide coverage to homeowners, and if so, at what cost. These models are not uniform, as insurers use different models to draw from different data sources and consider different factors in developing the scores. We also don't have a lot of insight as to how insurers and modelers incorporate mitigation efforts undertaken by policyholders, communities, and the state into these risk scores. People are doing different kinds of mitigation work thinking that the insurance company will be impressed and give them a discount. And a lot of times what they're doing is irrelevant to what the insurance company thinks is best for the property. So you could be doing things to mitigate, putting a fire retardant paint on, but they don't really care about that in many instances. What they care about is a certain set of things that they want to see happen. Under this proposal, we're asking insurers to include the community mitigation measures in developing the risk scores and annually update the models to account for mitigation efforts that the communities undertake. With the amendments, we did change the approach on how we do that. We're also trying to file with the division and the public websites regarding what discounts, if any, they might provide. Some insurance companies work on a discount model where others have a different underwriting ability with the risk score. So one big company says, if you do this mitigation work, we will reduce you and give you a discount, just like that. If that is the company you have, then it might be worth doing that to get the discount. Some work in a little bit different way. But these tools would help result in more accurate predictions of wildfire risk scores by incorporating relevant mitigation efforts and giving Coloradans the information they need to direct their mitigation efforts effectively. And some of the data that they have is inaccurate. We had one person who emailed a member. They said that they were dropping the insurance because their house was in the woods. It was not in the woods. The GPS coordinate that they gave was in the woods, but that's not where their house is. But when we get the proper information into these models with the help of the customers who are being insured, we can make sure that these models reflect the proper amount of risk that's there. And this is going to help reduce costs for all Coloradans. And I ask for a yes vote on the bill.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to thank my good colleague from Jefferson County for her partnership in this fight. It has been an incredibly important bill. My district was impacted by the Marshall Fire, and as a result, many of my constituents have shared the challenges that they have faced in finding affordable homeowners insurance in this market. You know, the industry has been asking homeowners to take actions to mitigate their properties that will help to answer and address the affordability and availability of insurance. And so, you know, this bill is an important point of transparency, and it provides some important consumer protections for folks who are trying to seek homeowners insurance and make sure that we have a vibrant market going forward. We'd ask for an aye vote on 1182.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1182? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1182. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Bill 1298.
House Bill 1298 by Representatives Carter and Richardson, also Senators Exum and Michelson Janae, concerning judicial performance commissions.
Representative Richardson.
Hey, colleagues, it seems like only yesterday that Representative Carter and I presented this bill before the Judiciary Committee and received its unanimous support. Actually, it was yesterday, so a little less than 24 hours ago, but it was a good day. So, stand before you today as a representative.
Just 1 second. I was waiting for it. Someone needs to move the bill.
Okay.
Will you do that for us?
I will
Thank you.
certainly do that. I would move House Bill 25-1298 and
That is a proper motion to the bill. Representative Richardson.
So I stand before you today as a representative of the people of 2 of the 3 counties that now comprise the new 23rd District. With the establishment of this new judicial district, we have an obligation to ensure that judicial oversight and accountability keeps pace with these changes. This bill establishes over time a Judicial Performance Commission for the 23rd. It's a crucial step in that direction of ensuring that our judges are fairly evaluated consistently and transparently. There's a few procedural updates in this as we're kind of midstream, but this is about maintaining the integrity of our judicial system and preserving confidence of the people and those that serve on the bench. By supporting this bill, we send a clear message that we value oversight, continuity, and the trust of Colorado citizens.
Representative Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Representative Richardson indicated,
seems like only yesterday. Let me explain to you briefly what this bill is about and what it does specifically. As he indicated, it's about judicial oversight, but it's also about maintaining some type of communication between the judiciary and the people that are actually on the ground. These individuals that comprise this board of commissioners are literally the individuals inside of your districts. They come from your neighborhoods, they come from your grocery store. These are people that sit in and they watch these judges and then they evaluate them for you. One of the things and I know there's other members of this body that are actual members of judicial performance committees. These are invaluable tools to help us discern who needs to continue to be a judge and who does not. It also will give these judges feedback that they will never hear from any other individual. Specifically, we go over cases that these judges have contacted. We talk to the district attorneys, we talk to the public defenders, we talk to the probation officers, we talk to the chief judges. It is a very long process to make sure that there is feedback to these judges, and then that feedback is given back to the people of the state of Colorado. I love this bill. I'm so happy that Representative Richardson is on this bill with me. I am currently on the 18th Judicial Performance Committee. We are still evaluating those judges, but the 23rd deserves its own Judicial Performance Committee, so I'm requesting an aye vote.
Minority Leader Puglisi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank the co-sponsor or the sponsors of this bill. I think this is a really great bill to promote accountability and transparency in our judicial system, and I wholeheartedly support it. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1298? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1298. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is adopted. Mr. Shebo, please read the title of Senate Bill 78.
Senate Bill 78 by Senator Peltonar, also Representative Lukens, concerning the authorization of certain nonprofit hospitals to enter into collaborative agreements with other health facilities.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 78.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill is being brought by the rural hospital community. They are asking the General Assembly to amend COPA Act 1.0 and pass this bill, which we are calling COPA Act 2.0. This bill will empower small, rural, and nonprofit hospitals, that's the addition from COPA Act 1.0, to band together with other rural, public, and county rural hospitals to increase their purchasing power. We ask for a yes vote. I ask for a yes vote on Senate Bill 78.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 78? Wow. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Senate Bill 78. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 78 is passed. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Schiebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report as under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1182 as amended, 1209 as amended, 1224 as amended, and 1298 passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 78 passed on second reading, ordered revised, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Representative Clifford. Members, you have heard the motion. We do have one amendment at the desk. Mr. Schiebel, please read the Hartsook amendment to House Bill 1209, the Committee of the Whole report.
Representative Hartsook moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in not adopting the following Hartsook and Brown Amendment L15 to House Bill 1209 to show that said amendment passed and that House Bill 1209 as amended passed.
Representative Hartsook.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the Hartsook Amendment to the Committee of the Whole and request that it be properly displayed.
One moment. It is properly displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, as we discussed during the amendment phase, the amount of marijuana that this bill is getting out there is doubling. We don't need to have enough out there that 1,280 people can buy it at a single time. That's extreme. You can't buy that much alcohol. Well, I guess you could, but I don't know how you're going to carry it. You don't need that many cigarettes. It's not necessary. The law works just fine as it is. We already have enough problems with kids. We already have enough problems with what is happening out there. Let's not double it and exacerbate the quantity that is available to go into the black market and go other places in this state. You can't consume that much. We don't need that much. People don't need that much. We urge an aye vote on this amendment.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank you, colleagues, for hearing our plea today. I, again, rise in support of this amendment because when we are discussing products like marijuana, we cannot view these solely from an economic lens. They do have an impact on public health, and the responsible restrictions that we have put in place over the number of years in Colorado have made sure that our marijuana legalization has gone well. Rolling back this particular regulation, I have concerns about because we know that 24% of high school students who use marijuana got it from someone over the age of 21. The existing purchase limits allow, or seem to be allowing, illegally for the diversion to youth, and this in particular will only make that problem worse. Our existing marijuana business models rely on large amounts of high-potency products, and approximately 8% of high school students are using high-potency THC products, concentrates, and similars. These high-potency products that are ending up in kids' hands are particularly dangerous for them because we know that a person's brain continues to develop until they're 25, and that peer-reviewed research has indicated that higher potency cannabis products are associated with an increased risk of psychosis and cannabis use disorder. Raising the purchase limit will not help us with these problems. It will only increase the risk that these high-potency products are ending up in the hands of our youth. And so we ask for an aye vote to maintain current law and our current regulations.
Representative Wilford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to our colleagues for having such a robust and passionate discussion about this piece. I want to talk about for a minute the argument that what we're trying to do is double what people can have. I don't know that that's fully the argument that we're making, because right now in Colorado law, you can already possess 2 ounces. We are not changing that. You can already go, my colleague here from Broomfield can walk in to a dispensary and buy an ounce of cannabis today.
Tomorrow, he can walk into that same dispensary and buy another ounce of cannabis and have 2 ounces of cannabis. We're saying that when he walks in today, he should be able to buy 2 ounces. We're not changing the amount that somebody can have. We are simply saying they should be able to purchase 2 ounces, which is their possession limit, in one trip. We would ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Representative Lindstedt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just want to make a process argument about this amendment. I think there is a way to find a better compromise. I think we could treat concentrates maybe different from flour or other products if the concern really is concentrates. It's very strange to have a possession limit and a sales limit that are different under state statute. It's a strange thing, and I think it should be aligned, but I think there is a way to find a better compromise that doesn't overregulate business and still protects our priorities of public health. So I would ask for a no vote so that we can continue those discussions in the Senate on this subject and maybe strike a better balance down the road. So I'd ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of the Hartsook Amendment to the Committee of the Whole report. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Lindsay votes no. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bottoms votes yes. Please close the machine. With 35 aye, 29 no, and 1 excused, the Hartsook Amendment is adopted. Seeing no additional amendments, the motion before us is the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Lindsay, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Lindsay votes yes. Representative Bottoms, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bottoms votes no. Please close the machine. With 42 aye, 22 no, and 1 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to lay over the balance of the calendar till Thursday, March 20th, 2025.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over until tomorrow, March 20th. Announcements and introductions, members. Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Education Committee will be meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment in room 107. We will be hearing Senate Bill 67 and Senate Bill 73.
Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today is another legislative water workshop for those interested in learning more about infrastructure fees and rates for Colorado water utilities. It'll be held in Senate Committee Room 354 upstairs on the 3rd floor today from noon to 1. So please try to attend if you want to learn more about water. Also, I wanted to announce that we have a school, a bunch of kids from Longmont, St. John the Baptist School visiting today. I don't see them here, but we know that they're having fun visiting the Capitol. And also, Ag, Water, and Natural Resources Committee will not be meeting tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you. Representative Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of Judiciary, today at 1:30, we will be having a joint hearing with our colleagues from the Senate in the old Supreme Court. We're going to be getting a presentation from someone from the Federal Trade Commission, Alvaro Bedoya, and Seth Frotman from the CFPB. They're going to be talking about the role of states in protecting affordability. Then at 2:30, That hearing's going to last for an hour. Then at 2:30, we're going to meet in room 107, and we're going to hear Senate Bill 129, Senate Bill 60, and House Bill 1206. See you at 1:30 in the Old Supreme Court.
Thank you. Representative Johnson and Byrd.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, we recognize people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and the community of family members, researchers, advocates, educators, providers, case managers, and advocacy groups who work together to ensure that they have the supports they need to fully be included and live meaningful lives in their communities. People with IDD are defined by their strengths, abilities, good jokes, and inherent values, not by their disabilities. With the appropriate resources, services, and personalized supports, they can and do make decisions about their own lives and meaningfully contribute to the communities just like people without disabilities. Thanks to the work of the IDD community and state policy makers, we have made significant progress towards ensuring that people with IDD have access to the supports they need to reach their full potential. However, despite the progress, many still experience barriers to the integration, employment, healthcare, education, housing, and other aspects of community life that we take for granted.
Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this year people with IDD and those who support them are worried about how both state and federal budget discussions might affect their services. The vast majority of services for people with IDD are provided through government programs, including Medicaid. The General Assembly is committed to protecting services for this population to the maximum extent possible and ensuring that funding is adequate to maintain the workforce of dedicated direct support professionals who deliver them. As policymakers, we must work with the IDD community to resolve the barriers they face and ensure an adequate workforce to meet the needs of Coloradans with IDD. We express our most sincere appreciation to people with IDD and the contributions they bring to our communities and our state, and to the organizations and individuals and families who provide services, advocacy, education, and natural supports for their commitment to supporting and improving the quality of life for Coloradans with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Members, I just want to close by saying that if you have not engaged with the IDD community, I hope that you will. These are some of the most inspiring individuals and family members. The barriers that they overcome just to live an ordinary day, something that would just be ordinary for us, what they need to do to be able to experience that same day is so much more difficult and challenging. And I know I am so inspired when I hear their stories and when I listen to moms who have adult children living with them and moms who need to find caregivers to make sure that their kids are safe and cared for while they are able to go and go to work. It's such an important need, so everything that we can do to support them is something that we should all be there for as a state. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, and a round of applause. I think our guests have left, but thank you. Representative Phillips.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
An honor to serve with you.
Hey, I might be late tomorrow morning, and I'm excused. Thank you.
So approved. Representative Froelich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee will be having Linstat Day. 3 bills, 1290, 51, and 23 LSBA 130.
Thank you. Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And for the record, I signed up today.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Today, Health and Human Services will be meeting in room 112 at 1:30. We will be hearing, where is my calendar? Sorry, there it is. We will be hearing 1288 for action only, and then we will hear Senate Bill 45, and then House Bill 1271 in that order. See you all there.
Representative Ricks. Good to see you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, Business Affairs and Labor will meet 15 minutes upon adjournment in room 112. We'll be hearing 2 bills, SB 70 and SB 58. See you there.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, or Madam Speaker, and everybody that's on the Energy and Environment Committee. I have some great news. We will not be meeting today. I guess the Earth will not be getting better today, but tomorrow we will meet. Have a great day.
Representative Byrd.
Members, I am back, and this is for some more fun stuff. This is to announce something very important that I think many of you might already know about. But as many of us do know, for 115 years, the Dumb Friends League has been a beacon of hope for Colorado animals in need, providing shelter, rehabilitation, and veterinary care, and uniting countless pets with loving families. Now they begin their new chapter with a new name that reflects their rich history while also embodying their values, vision, and mission. The Dumb Friends League is now the Humane Colorado. While the name has changed, the mission and commitment to ending pet homelessness and animal suffering remains steadfast. Whether through adoptions, advocacy, and education, expanding access to veterinary care, or helping nurture and preserve loving connections, Humane Colorado will continue to break down barriers so that animals and people in our community can thrive together. And if you look on your desk, you should see a nice gift that was left for you. Please support them. This organization is incredible. And just a funny anecdote, a long time ago when I first graduated from college and I was out with my first job, I knew I wanted to do something big for a local nonprofit. I chose the Dumb Friends League, now Humane Colorado, and I was there as Santa Claus for pictures with your pet with Santa. So if you can just picture that, I was there. And I actually even had somebody turn me down because I wasn't Santa. Well, go figure. Anyway, please help me honor this great organization and enjoy your packets.
Thank you. Representative Hamrick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tomorrow it's time to shine a light in your community. Breakfast at the Capitol, sponsored by the Volunteers of America, Colorado. It'll be right over there tomorrow morning from 7:45 to 9 o'clock in the morning. Volunteers of America, Colorado is a nonprofit faith-based organization dedicated to helping those in need transform their lives. Through more than 50 distinct human service programs, Volunteers of America, Colorado changes the lives of over 100,000 people in need each year. Their services include housing and emergency shelters, hunger and nutrition services, and many other community support programs. Their work touches the mind, body, and heart of those they serve by integrating compassion into their highly effective programs and services that build and strengthen the community. So join us for Shine a Light in Your Community, Breakfast at the Capitol, tomorrow with Volunteers of America members, tomorrow 7:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Story.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Tomorrow morning, Capital Development Committee will be meeting at 8 a.m. in Senate Committee Room 357, and we welcome all of you to attend.
Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wanted just to welcome our janitors and healthcare workers, airport staff, and home care providers. I don't know if they're still here, but if you could welcome them, and they are participating in a rally today with SEIU. So if you want to join, please join them at noon today. Thank you.
And Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move the House stand in recess until later today.
The House will stand in recess until later today.